section of literature from a specific era. So it could be geographic location, it could be writers from specific backgrounds, so the same or different, or identities to draw conclusions about the similarities and differences in similar kinds of literary works. So basically, it's a tool. It's a way of looking at things. I really like this idea as well is of it being a lens that you look through. I really like this definition, and I use it quite a lot with my students. So it's a literary theory is a basic way of looking at I'll start that again. A basic way of looking at literary theories is that each of them is a specific lens through which you can view a piece of literature. And this allows you to focus on particular aspects of a work that the literary theory thinks is important. And I just really like that. It just seems very simple to me and a really good way of thinking about it. Yeah, it's just a lens that you look at pieces of literature through and you pick up on things that you think are important. So I'll skip on to the next one now. I hope Albert can kind of catch up. I hope he's there. Okay, good. So this is where we go into a little bit more detail about the literary theories in the 19th and 20th centuries. I mean, it can get quite complex in some ways because literary theory, although we've given that very simple definition of it being a lens, there are a lot of them and they tend to link with lots of different things in terms of the context of the time. So I'm about to show you a what will look like a little bit of a mind-boggling map, but we'll run through it. So this is the timeline of literary theory here, and you can see that we start up at classical theory at the top, and we move through medieval theory, Renaissance and neoclassical theory, and then we go down to romantic theory, and then it splits. And this is where it starts getting very complicated, and we get lots of different branches of the different theories. But what in essence you can see here is that literary theory and the formal practice of literary interpretation runs parallel to the history of philosophy, particularly at the start. We can German philosopher who obviously believed that unequal, inequitable economic relationships were the source of class conflict. So it was supposed to be a set of social, economic, and political ideas that would change the world. And the main principle of it is to explain in any context that you have to look at both material, economic, and historical situations. It's based on the idea that the bourgeoisie, the wealthy, and the proletariat, the working class, are involved in a constant class struggle. So the main goal there is to explain a text by looking at the ways economics influences the characters. I've just put a note there, so it's important to note that Marxist criticism is not a promotion of socialist government, but rather a close study of how invisible economic forces underpin and often undermine, authentic human relationships. So we've got to separate off the idea that Marxism or Marxist theory is in any way linked too much to a socialist government or any promotion of it. We've just got to look at it in terms of economic forces. I think we also have to consider with this one, and I'm going to go into a bit more detail because we've said that we're quite interested in this one, that it is as well when you're actually looking at a text, you're also considering the reinforcement of class distinction through the medium of literature. So it's not just underpinning it, you're also looking at how the kind of the relationships that they're reinforced and how the characters are reinforced too. They use quite a traditional set of techniques for literary analysis. So they really look, they subordinate aesthetic concerns. They're not too interested in the aesthetic. They're more interested in the kind of final aim of social and political meanings. It also often, Marxist theorists, they quite often champion the working class, are more sympathetic towards the working classes, and authors who work challenges those economic inequalities and found in capitalist societies usually. That's what usually happens when theorists apply this one.